everyone, in this video we're going to show you how to make a card using your papers, Bitesize and the amazing little book of garden treasures which is still available to buy on our website. So for this one you will need a 7x7 card blank, some gold mirri, you're going to need some purple Bitesize from the selection, you're going to need the polka dot paper from the papers and inserts, and then I've chosen this beautiful image from the little book with the bird and the flowers in the jar. You're going to need some purple ribbon, and I've chosen lilac so it's a little bit lighter, and then your purple pearl gemstones. So to begin, we're going to start by cutting our papers and some gold mirri to create a really nice mat and layer for our card. So cutting your gold mirri down to 7x7 to start with, and then we're going to cut that paper down slightly smaller than 7x7. So we're going to take that to 2 notches below the 7, and that's going to give us a nice little edge. So we'll start by sticking these down, and I'm going to use my construction glue to do this. So we've got the time to make sure that everything is nice and in place. So just around the edge and then a little bit in the middle. I'm going to create a 10th fold card with this one. So just sticking this down onto our card blank first of all, and then I'm going to take the cardstock and we're going to just leave that to one side because we're going to add our ribbon underneath it. So we're going to pop these bits and pieces together first. So I'm going to cut this into 4 sections. Now the easiest way to do this is just to trim it slightly. So I'm going to trim this down to 4, and then I'm just going to trim it down to 5 and a half, to 5 3/4, and then we can create some equal edges. So we're going to trim this down again in the center down to 2. So you've got 2 panels now, but we're going to make it into 4 by now cutting this in half. So we need to cut it to 2 and I think it's 2 3/4, and that will give us 4 sort of even rectangles. Oh no, these are slightly bigger. But I don't think that will matter too much because you've still got those sections as you can see here. So now we need to make our mats for our pieces. So using some gold mirri you have left over, I'm going to make some mats. So we know that if we go 2 notches over 2, that's going to fit, and then we need to go to just under 3 for 2 of them, and they will be our top 2. And then we've cut these ones a little bit bigger, so let's pop them on here. We might be able to trim them down actually so they're all equal layers. So let's get our taller sections, and we can just trim from the bottom, just take that little bit off, and then that's going to make all of our pieces equal. So you want your sections to be 2 by 2 3/4, and then your mirri mats are just 2 notches above that, so you can see that little edge of mirri. So we'll now stick these onto our mats with our mirri, and I think I've cut these ones. To 2, so they're too small. So let's get our other piece here, and we'll trim them down again. So you want them to be just over 2 and just under 3. There we go. And then we can stick these using our construction glue onto our mirri mats, and that gives us time to make sure that they are nice and even, those edges. So again, we'll do that with each different panel that we have. and we'll be able to build up this card. And we're going to piece these back together now by sticking them onto some purple mirror. So first of all, let's add this to our card. So I'm going to stick some double-sided tape onto the edges here, and then we'll peel away that back in. We can place our ribbon then around the center of our card before we stick it down. So just adding that to the glue, and if you want to make sure that it is in the right place, then you can add that to your mat, so we know we're sticking that nice and centrally across there. And then we'll trim away this excess because we're going to make a nice little bow for the card. So we'll stick this now onto our gold mirror, and again we're making a tent fold, so we need to make sure that that is at the bottom. So stick that onto our gold mirror. That gives us with a nice edge. And then I'm using some foam pads. We're going to stick our little pieces we've made onto some of that darker purple. So you want to use your big foam pads for this, your big squares for this one. I'm just going to stick 2 on each of my panels to fill out that space. And then making sure that you're popping them in the right place. Yeah, I'm just going to go to the edge of this card, leaving a nice purple, oh that's the wrong one, here we go, a nice purple edge on each outside piece. And placing them sort of back in the position they should go. Then we'll take our trimmer again, and I'm just going to go around the other edge now, and that's going to give us a nice sort of purple frame around our picture. Now to add even more dimension to this, we're going to stick it to our card blank with foam pads, and then I've got a second sheet of the image which I'm going to cut out little sections of the picture which really stand out. So we're going to cut out the butterfly, the bird, the little bow, and then one of the flowers. So we'll stick this onto this side here, and I'm going to bring in this extra piece we've got. So I'm going to go around my bird, just keeping all of it together, but we'll just remove the legs just so it's easier to stick down. So then we'll just around his tail, and then we'll stick these on with foam pads to add some more dimension. So we've got our bird. We're going to take this flower that we've cut off here, and then I think we're just going to trim that straight so that fits on there nicely. Then the bow from the vase, we'll take that. You could even take the tag, you could take some leaves. It's completely up to you which bit you want to add more of this dimension to. I'm just going to take these little sections to we've got our ribbon. Let's take this flower, this one flower, so it really stands out. Just using your scissors to do this as well. You could also add ink because it's matte-tastic. You can add some more colour to this. We'll pop that one on there, and then just finally that little butterfly. So just taking around the wings on that one, and then just around the second one. Oops, we've lost that one. We'll find it in a moment. And then our foam pads, we'll just trim them down so they fit nicely on here, and we'll stick those elements on. And it just adds a little bit of dimension to each section of those 4 elements that we have trimmed. So just removing, making sure my foam pads are the right size onto here. And we'll stick that on like that. And then our butterfly, we can I definitely can't find it under the thing, so we will add our butterfly at a later stage when we can get to that. So I'm going to just make a little bow now, just to add. Oh, we haven't stuck this bit down. I knew there was a bit missing. So let's stick that down to that section, and then we'll add the butterfly when we get it a bit later on. So now we're going to make a little bow, and this is a 10mm ribbon in this lovely lilac colour, because there's lots of different colours of purple in the selection that in the image that we've picked from our little box. So we can add the ribbons in different colours. So just making that bow, making sure it's nice and tight, but then pulling in those sections so it's nice and small as well. And then you can trim off your edges and stick that down. So we'll use our construction glue to do that. I'm going to stick our construction glue in the centre of our ribbon here, and then we'll just pop that onto the edge of our card. Once it's stuck as well, then you can trim these tails of your ribbon further down if you want them to be smaller. And then we're going to go in with the darkest purple from the pearl gemstones, and we're just going to add 3 to the bottom section of our card. And then bringing all of those different purples together from that main image, there is a really nice, quite simple but quite different card using your little book and your papers and your Matastic, which are still available to buy on our website right now.